Ryan here from Dynamic Project Services. We're here at Storage King at St Peters. We've been awarded a project here on the rooftop for water ingress and putting down new polyurethane on the rooftop. This is to stop an issue that we've had here with water ingress into the units. Let's go and sign in and we can have a look at the project. Just here to sign in at the front desk. As you can see here on the wall, we've had water coming down into the external walls. What's happening here now is the water's actually getting caught up in the substrate itself, up in this area. It's starting to blow the surface off this as well. It also damages any steel work that's in the substrate itself. Once the waterproofing is done on the roof again, the positive polyurethane waterproofing, this issue will disappear and it's going to allow the owner then and the clients to then repair this section here with assurance that it's not going to go any further into deterioration. They've asked us to come up on the roof and assess and have a look at their rooftop for them. Typically walking up on this roof, we can see a lot of failures. It hasn't had any service done up here for quite some time. A little bit of Band-Aid solution here and there, but when we look around this rooftop, I'll show you the areas that have failed and how we're going to rectify this project. Typically an area that's failure in a concrete structure like this is where we get an external and an internal surface meeting. Due to expansion contraction in two different materials, there's typically a failure through areas in here where there's an upturn. You can see this across areas in this slabbed area here. This is an area that obviously they've tried to do a Band-Aid solution on. It's failed. We're going to have to grind that area back, prep it, and reapply new waterproofing to that area. In a building like this is where we have an external parapet wall that they put a cap flashing on with a cladding on the wall. Where we have the concrete slab joining the parapet wall, again, expansion contraction through that area, high failure area. This is an area where we believe we're getting water ingress dripping down into the first floor below, is where all of their units and all of their clients store their valuables. Basically what we're trying to achieve on this project is to stop water ingress going through any broken surfaces up here. So in layman's terms, we're going to make a tanking system through here, and the tank is like, if you can imagine the inside of a bathtub, where you're capturing the water and the water is then directed to the drainage systems that are put on this roof for a purpose. Another issue we found on the rooftop is typically on a joint like this is an expansion joint. The expansion joint is made to be there. It's because two hard surfaces meet each other. There has to be room for movement in the slab. But in this section here, it's a high fail point. Where the polyurethane's been patched here at the moment, it's a high risk of failure through here because the polyurethane doesn't continue over the rest of the slab and create that one tanking system. Typically this will be ground back to substrate, and then we will be putting primers on and the finished coatings of the waterproofing polyurethane. During the grinding stage of this project, we're going to remove these solar panels through this area. The reason for this is currently the solar panel mounting brackets are actually penetrating through into the substrate. What we're going to do here, once they've been removed by our licensed electrician, we'll be installing a BESA block on the floor after the waterproofing's being done. Then we'll be doing a secondary waterproofing up and over the BESA blocks. So remounting this system back on the roof will ensure we don't break through the new polyurethane waterproofing and it won't penetrate into the substrate. In this area where we have cable trays placed across the rooftop itself, we also underneath have a BESA block that lifts the actual system, the wiring system above where the polyurethane is going to be put down. These typically will be replaced and waterproofed up and over, as we don't want any penetrations going down through the slab itself after the new waterproofing's been installed. Our aim is to stop water ingress getting down into the units below. To achieve this, there's a lot of preparation work and remedial works that needs to be done prior to the waterproofing going on. Number one is typically to remove the solar panels from over in this area. Number two is to grind the surface and preparate, ready for its primers. Number three is to remove the wall panelling, which will allow us to tank the system and climb the walls with 300 millimeters. The whole project itself will then fall towards the drains and work as intended in its original build. Brian here from Dynamic Project Services again. We've completed the scope of works here at Storage King. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for part 2.